Parent Wins, an adventure of a lifetime. A global expedition dedicated to collecting stories of environmental and cultural preservation while conducting marine research aboard sailing vessel Resilience. During our time in the Low Country, we had the opportunity to head down to Georgia and went to talk to people about Gray's Reef, and specifically NOAA. Gray's Reef is actually a NOAA marine sanctuary, and we're very interested in those, considering that we were leading up to departing for the Hudson Canyon, which is a proposed marine sanctuary. So it was really cool to see the difference that designation can make.
Gray's Reef is really interesting to me because you look at South Carolina and think about South Carolina, Georgia, and the water there. And at least for me growing up here, I had no idea this kind of life that you have out in the ocean. So Gray's Reef is like this incredible habitat for reef fish and all sorts of species that make their way out there.
Where are we? I don't really know where we are. Skidaway Island, and there's a research vessel over there that we're gonna meet some people at, so I'm along for the ride right now. This is trips home. I don't know, man.
Even growing up here, going to school here, being interested in nature, whatever the case might be, I had no idea about Gray's Reef. I had no idea the species that are out there. I mean, we have so many things that I would always associate, honestly, with the Caribbean that we have there. And so it's this hot spot of species diversity and life. And the cool thing is, it's not just Gray's Reef. Gray's Reef just happens to be the one that we've studied for the longest.
So Gray's Reef is only unique in that it's well studied, well known. It was designated as a sanctuary in 1981, but research has been going on there since the late 50s. Where we are here, our office, our headquarters for Gray's Reef is in Savannah, Georgia. When you're here and you see the expanses of salt marsh and the tidal estuaries and just amazing beauty and diversity, it's just a magical place. And that's no different than Gray's Reef. Gray's Reef is an incredible, vibrant underwater community out there that a lot of people just really don't know. And in fact, growing up here, even though I fished and went to the beach and all these things growing up, I never knew about Gray's Reef, 20 miles offshore. I never knew about live bottom habitats. The ocean is a very dynamic place, and these things are ever changing. So we study Gray's Reef so we know what's happening elsewhere. So these areas exist from the Outer Banks of North Carolina all the way to Cape Canaveral. And in that, this patchwork is formed of these live bottom areas, and they're just scattered on this sandy landscape out there.
If we aren't aware of what's happening out there, then we're not going to know what harm we're doing or what we can do to preserve why we came here in the first place. You know, why did we come here to Savannah? If it was the water, that's kind of taken for granted a little bit. And it's not something that is on top of everyone's mind because it's always been there, but you're going to notice when it's not there. And one of my favorite things to do, when someone comes in or to an event or why should I care about the ocean, is just ask them, take 2 breaths. And you can thank the ocean for one of those breaths. So the oxygen that is produced out by those tiny plants we never see gives us what we have right now. Just in the past 6 months recently, there's been a lot of pressure, politically, to start to develop these areas like Sapelo Island. Sapelo Island's the closest island to Gray's Reef, and I think parks, national marine sanctuaries, any sort of environmental protection, ecosystem protection that we put in now, in the past, in the future, all ties into how we see ourselves moving forward as a species. What can we learn from nature? What can we learn from our waters to determine how we work towards the future.
I think humans are incredible species of animal. We sometimes forget we're also animals. Remembering that we are part of the ecosystem and that we need resources for our living, but we also need to provide and take care of what's around us. So my vision or my hope for the future and future generations is that we define society and have progress, have an economy, have great livelihoods as human beings, have families, have all these things that we've always enjoyed in a way that's more harmonious with nature.
Looking back at the stories that we have and everything, I feel like this whole project, since we started, we have takeaways. The Low Country, I think what I'm taking away and that I want to reflect on moving forward is what we kind of kept coming back to for me was balance and harmony and what that looks like. Whether you talk to scientists or you talk to other community leaders or you talk to indigenous leaders, you talk to folks that are in the legal world trying to make a positive difference, the conversation does come back to harmony and balance. How do we share, and how do we share this world and share this space? As we've been progressing, I keep on revisiting, or lately especially, revisiting the whole purpose and the whole idea behind the name Apparent Winds. Apparent Winds is Apparent Winds because of the idea of apparent wind, which is the wind we feel when we're in motion. So there's the true wind all around us. There's the true wind around our sailboat, blowing from the north to the south, let's say. But since we're going to the east, we feel it from the northeast. We feel our own perspective. We have our own relationship to that wind. We all are in this world, living our lives, going all of our own directions. And the world itself is also going in these various directions. And so we all have different perspectives and experiences. And just as much as we're seeing negative things out in the world of clashes of humanity, we're also seeing so much growth in the world with people and collaboration and a healthy sort of relationship.
We're at that tipping point. We can either go one way or another, and I would like to see us tip the other way and make a difference.
What I would love to see is to have our laws and policies in the state prioritize natural systems that sustain life.
I've been at this for a little while, and as I've gotten older, I think what's most exciting to me right now, and where I see a lot of positive, is how these issues are so ingrained in this next generation that's coming along,
I am very hopeful. All you have to do is to look to nature to find the answer to how this is going to work, how it should work.
All is not lost. Sometimes you just need to sit outside in some fresh air, no phones, and then start to think about there is a reason you're here, that you can do something positive. So just think about a ripple. And if Hunter did from you done skip rocks, so on the water. So once you hit that right spot, you see it hit in the middle, and it's small, and then it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So that little rock hitting that moment is you. But you gotta be centered. And believe me, it'll make a difference. Just breathe. And then move.
If you want to access more content, consider joining our community on Patreon. You can find details in the video description. Thank you so much for watching.